Well, hello, writers. Welcome to episode 369 of How Do You Write? I'm Rachael Herron with a bonus mini episode coming to you courtesy of one of my patrons who sent the kind of email that I get quite often. And it prompted me in a direction that I have been thinking about doing and that I am now going to do. And I'm going to tell you about it. If you're on my email newsletter list, you already have heard about this. But I can hear how Sarah feels in this. It was a longer email. And Sarah, I'm not going to share your whole email because you did not want me to, but you did give me permission to share this last bit. And I appreciate that. Sarah says, everything I plan fails. How can I get my writing done when I let myself down over and over again? Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for letting me talk about this and for asking me this in these words, because honestly, these are the words I tend to hear a lot in this way, this despair, this feeling that you make a plan and you let yourself down. How can you ever get what you want done? How can you ever follow your heart and get this dream of being a writer? Okay, first of all, let's start at the top. You're already a writer. If you want to write, you are a writer, even if you're not writing. And people will fight about this. And I don't fight about it. You know why? Guess who never stresses out about not writing? Non-writers. They never stress out about it. They don't worry about it. People who stress out about not writing, you are the writers. You do that because you're a writer. So please, you get to call yourself a writer, whether or not you have been following through on your plans, hopes, or goals. Period. You're a writer. And here is why I love talking about this, because I am seriously, I believe, the world's worst planner, the world's worst goal setter. And that kept me from believing in myself for a long time, because I thought that when I made plans and made goals and then failed to hit them, I thought it meant that I wasn't doing it the right way, that I hadn't figured out my best process, my best plan yet. That's what I thought the failure to complete meant. And that's, what we hear in society a lot. If we fail to hit our targets, then we have failed. That is not the way it works in creative endeavors at all. In creative endeavors, including writing, especially in writing. It seems like artists are always arting around, right? Writers, we're the ones sitting around with the hope lost and the heavy hearts because we have made a plan and we have failed to even finish one of the things on that planning list. The way I always did it was I would make a big plan and it would be beautiful and gorgeous and it made sense. And my brain became happy with this new plan, because if I followed through on this plan, I would hit my goal. And then I would be really great for a first few days, sometimes a week. Every once in a while, if it was a major goal, I might hang in there for a couple of weeks, but I swear to you, not longer than that. Usually it was more like 3 or 4 days and I'd fall off of the wagon. It would be a migraine day, or it would be just like my heart is heavy day, or it would just be a day I got busy, or sometimes I would just forget to do the thing I had told myself that I would do. And then my plan would fall apart. I would be left with nothing except the very bottom item on my list, which I would always handwrite in right about then. I would write a bullet point, metaphorically, not literally, but I would write the metaphorical bullet point that I would begin to beat myself up for not being able to hit my goal again. And that is something I was really good at doing over and over and over again. I was very, very, very good at beating myself up. And over the course of the past multiple years, I have realized something very, very big, that it is important for us to make plans because we want to hit goals. That is a great thing to do. There are some people who are best without plans at all. If they are accomplishing what they want to accomplish, then that is their method. But for most of us, it's really useful to have some kind of plan, some kind of goal, some kind of target that we can look at and move toward. Then we have to take some steps to hit that goal. And then we have to fail. We have to fall off of the plan. We have to fall out of the bullet journal. We have to fall off of the piece of paper that we have so carefully written up so that we would hit our goals. And then the dangerous part is when we stop there, when that is the last step. That is the danger of failing. And I'm using air quotes around that word in my voice. That's the danger of failing. Failing is a true, real danger if you stop when the plan falls apart. Failure, however, to hit the plan, to hit the goal, if we reevaluate and keep going, there is not only nothing wrong with that, but that is so right. That's how we learn. That's how we get better. That's how we get stronger. That's how we keep going with these goals, making new goals and moving toward them. It really wasn't until about a year ago when I was working with one of Becca Syme's coaches, Ellie, that I realized that for me and the way my brain works, I love to plan, and executing on the plan doesn't give me as much happiness as planning. So about a year ago, I started just making plans and forgetting about following through on them. Because here's the thing, when I make the plan, I move toward the plan. Then I fall off of the plan, and it doesn't matter because guess what? I get to plan again. And doesn't that feel good? And then I'll take another few steps toward that. So that is part of writing. Failure is part of writing. It's not even a bad part of writing. The only time failure is bad is when we don't get back up and don't start moving back towards our goals. So this has prompted me to do something I have been meaning to do for a while because it is a passion of mine. I have opened a new Patreon level on my Patreon, which you can get to by going to patreon.com/Rachael, Rachael. And at the $25 a month level, which is less than $1 a day, there's a new system, and it is called Rachael Says Plan. And we're going to plan together. And if this is something that you have struggled with in the past, if you've been struggling to hit the goals that you set yourself and you've been beating yourself up for it, please stop. Please come join us. In Rachael Says Plan, at that level, you will get a one-sheet planning calendar PDF at the beginning of every month. I plan on keeping mine digital, so I will show you how I'm going to mark my calendar up on a PDF on my Mac, but it's also really totally awesome if you want to print that out and work from it. But I've got a couple of methods that I use with my 90-day students, which have proved really useful. So we're going to be using those calendars at the beginning of every month. We are going to have a dedicated and private Slack channel where you can chat with me as often as you like. We are going to have a planning day at the beginning of every month with encouragement. We are going to have a rejigger day in the middle of the month where we look and see where we have already failed to follow our plan, and we rejigger for the month. We think about our goals again, and we think about our real lives and realistically what we need to get the things we want to get over the finish line. And then at the end of the month, we will have a reassessment. And these will all be things that we can fill out and talk about. We will look at what worked, what didn't, and what we want to do in the next month. And then we're going to do it all over again. We're going to recalendar at the beginning of every month. We get this reset twice a month, once at the beginning, once at the middle. And then we do it again at the end of the month to start the next month. We also get a monthly live Q&A Zoom. And if you are a person who has reached out to me looking for coaching, this is as close as you're going to get to coaching. Honestly, I don't do one-on-one coaching anymore. And if you don't want to do or can't afford to do, which I totally understand, the 90-day courses where I give that personalized attention, this is the place for you to get personalized attention. You'll be able to submit your questions of any kind. We will have a live Zoom call once a month. It's going to be on the second Monday of the month at 4 p.m. Pacific time or 7 p.m. Eastern time, but the replay will be sent out to everyone. So you can just submit your questions if you can't be there live, and then you'll get that recording. So that is a huge component of this level. The biggest component The thing I am most excited about, though, is that in this group, we're going to be planning together, and we will be modeling for each other failure to hit. The reasons why. We'll be giving excuses because I will speak for myself. I'm really good at an excuse. But it really doesn't matter what those excuses are, what they look like, because it does not matter. We replan. And when we replan our goals, suddenly we are exactly on time. We are not behind anymore. We are on day one of the new plan, perfectly on time. And I would really love to help you with that. If that is something that you are interested in, that is over at patreon.com/Rachael. You can also just join at the $5 level, which Sarah is at, and which allowed her to ask this question, which I am now answering on the podcast. And I'm very, very glad that you asked, Sarah. And thank you to everyone who asks me this. Failing to hit those goals is normal. We can't let it stop us from making new goals and moving forward and continuing to move forward. So please, even if you don't want to join or can't join the Patreon level, hold this in your mind. You are normal. You are just a writer. You're a real writer if you're failing to hit goals. Please keep setting them. Please keep failing. And please keep replanning and starting again the next day. I should say, I didn't say this clearly. I think that we will be starting on July 1st with this. So that's when the first month will start. And the first live Q&A Zoom will be on the 10th, July 10th. So that'll be coming up. So I'd love to have you. Also, my wonderful assistant, Ed, tells me that I shouldn't remind, nobody knows this unless you already listened to the Spa Girls, but I was interviewed by the Spa Girls, which is a fantastic self-publishing podcast that it is here in New Zealand, and they are so fantastic. So we had a great talk about diversifying income as writers, and it's so fun to talk to the four of them. So if you just Google Spa Girls, like as in I'm going to the spa for a mani-pedi, Spa Girls, that podcast will come up. And I think it was 1 or 2 episodes ago that went live. So you might enjoy that. All right. Thank you for the questions. I don't have any more Patreon coaching questions. So if you are at the $5 a month level and you haven't asked a question in a while, please send me some. And if you have sent me one and I haven't answered it, it's because it got lost. So please re-ping me. But I think I have cleared out all of the places where they might be hiding. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for writing. And please keep making those plans. Failure is not optional. It is required. And if you feel like you're failing, good job. Why don't you do a little bit of writing too? All right. Thank you, my friends. I will talk soon.